have some tea with me because I'm about to tell you the tea about my hometown and the new mayor's race and all of the drama that's coming with it. So buckle in if you're ready to hear about it. Before I start the video, I do want to say you guys have asked me to do like a Big Brother video. I made one and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I didn't like this season very much. I think that's because of the people. Like, I don't know, maybe I will make one if you guys really want me to, but for now I think I'm not gonna do it. But anyway, today we're gonna be talking about my hometown and the mayor's race right now because there's so much drama surrounding it. So I am going to be using everyone's real name. I don't live in this town anymore, this city anymore, so I feel like it's okay for me to say like people's names. It's all public things. If you want to look it up yourself after watching the video, feel free. Because like everything that I'm mentioning is like has been recorded, has been posted online. There are newspaper articles. I'll try to like post some of them on the video. I'm from Taunton, Massachusetts. I was born in Providence. My parents were living in Rehoboth at the time. I was born in Providence. We moved to Taunton when I was 2 months old, and I, like, even though I was technically born out of state, I was raised in Taunton, grew up there. Taunton is still, like, holds a special place in my heart. Last year I moved to a small town. So Taunton, the population is about 70,000, and the small town that I moved to is a tenth of the size. We have 7,000 people. It might actually be more like 9,000 now, I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But so I moved last year, but like I said, Taunton has a special place in my heart. My mom still lives there, my family still lives there, so I do go to Taunton all the time. But I do also want to say about Taunton, it used to be called the Silver City because there was like a lot of silver manufacturing. I don't know if that's the right word, but my ancestors also lived in Taunton. We all kind of lived in the same area. They call it the Ware in Taunton, and even though there wasn't segregation, it does seem like a lot of the black people that I know live in like a certain area of Taunton. I guess it's like because of like poverty, I don't know, you know. Anyway, but my grandma grew up like right down the street from where I grew up, so yeah. Anyway, like I said, Taunton always holds a special place in my heart. Taunton has been, I would say, doing pretty well. There are a lot of businesses that bring in revenue. They invest in stuff, in like real estate and whatnot, so they always get the money back. It seems like the money is always going to the police. Like in 2020, there was like teachers being fired because they couldn't afford to like have certain programs like band and like stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, so like it seems like the money's always going to the police. They're building a new public safety building, which it was definitely needed. The fire stations in Taunton are old and like decrepit. Like I don't know if that's the best word to use, but like the fire station that I grew up near, we went there for like I don't want to say a field trip, but like a bunch of the kids in my neighborhood, we all went there to like tour the station, and it was literally falling apart. Like you could see the floor, like you could see through the floor. Like the thing was built like over 100 years ago. So Taunton desperately needed a public safety building. Everyone voted on it. At the time I was still living there, so I also voted on it. The police didn't need more money, but the fire department needed more money for sure. But since Taunton is so big with 70,000 people, that's not so big, but you know what I mean. Since Taunton had 70,000 people, there are like fire stations like around the city, and there's like one ambulance base. So I think they're making the ambulance base part of the public safety building, but I'm not sure. They might not be. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's kind of been happening in Taunton lately. into that in a second. So, we elected a new mayor in 2020. We had 2 candidates, pretty much, like, that people wanted to choose from. We had Shauna O'Connell. I'll put a picture of her. And we had Estelle Borges. And at the time, it seemed like they both kind of believed in the same things. They wanted, more businesses in Taunton to help with the tax revenue. They wanted to fix the roads. They were hearing about noise complaints from different neighborhoods in the city. Other little complaints that people had. They both kind of believed in the same things. So, I voted for Estelle Borges solely because Estelle Borges was a Democrat. At the time in 2020, I was just a little liberal. I'm a leftist now, but at the time, I was like refusing to vote for anyone who was not a liberal. Even though our governor, Charlie Baker, was considered Republican, I loved him. Like, I will always stand beside that man. Charlie Baker was an amazing governor. I know a lot of people hate him and hate the way that he took care of the pandemic. I loved it, and I thought he did an amazing job. But at the time, I was just a baby liberal, and I was just like, oh, like, I'm just gonna vote for the liberal, no matter what Taunton's gonna have its first woman mayor, right? So, like I said, both of them kind of cared about the same things, and I think really it came down to like who was more popular, who talked to more people, and like catered to more people, right? So Shauna O'Connell won. And again, like I said, it didn't really matter. They both believed in the same things. I was happy because Taunton finally had its first female mayor. So I was just like, oh, like, we'll see what happens. Like, it wasn't like I like totally disagreed with anything in her campaign. I just disagreed with her like Republican views, but that didn't really have anything to do with Taunton and like local government, you know what I mean? So off the bat, I like her, have no problems with her. So Shauna O'Connell, I think she did a pretty good job as mayor. The roads still sucked, but she brought in a lot of like small businesses. She started to clean up downtown a little bit more. Like, I'll try to insert a picture. We have this thing called the Green in Taunton, and it's like a rotary, and there's like it's like Main Street and then the Rotary, and there's like the post office, the courthouse, like some restaurants and everything around the Green. And there's Main Street. Main Street like had its heyday like before I was born. Like, my grandma told me that there was this place called like Woolworths, and it was there, and it was like way nicer than it was when I was growing up. Like, when I was growing up, you did not want to walk on Main Street because the people there were not usually like, I don't want to say desirable, that's not, but that is kind of what I mean. Like, the people there, like, you could get robbed, you know what I mean? Like, you could get catcalled or whatever. Like, it was just not a good place to be. With Shauna O'Connell being the mayor, she fixed up the area a bit more. There's like picnic tables. She had put picnic tables for people to sit for a little bit, but it was causing like traffic issues, so they took those away and put the picnic tables in a different area. I see people sitting there during the summer sometimes, just like, because a lot of homeless people stay on the Green. There's like a water fountain and everything. I don't know if when I was a kid I saw a homeless person in the fountain. I don't think that's allowed, but like, if they do need to cool themselves off with like the water, you know, they could just dip their hand in or whatever. And I think that's why they hang out there. Also, some people who are trying to feed the homeless will bring sandwiches or waters or whatever to the Green so that people can get them. But yeah, I think having that little picnic table area gives them somewhere to sit that's not like right on the Green, because it is also kind of dangerous to walk across the street on the Green. Like, people do not pay attention. People do not know how to drive around that rotary. I don't know why. Like, people don't know that when you're in the rotary, you have the right of way, you know? I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but anyway. that, or the fountain turns into a tree. Like, they always do something cool, and there's a big banner and it says the Christmas City, because people come from all over to come see the lights on the green. Anyway, like I said, on Main Street, it was kind of somewhere that you didn't always want to walk. Shauna O'Connell made it so that they redid like that whole block of like undesirable looking buildings, and it's like green now with like a pink with a gold accent. It looks so pretty. We have a bookstore that came in, we have a new coffee place that came in, Lens Crafters, there's a shoe store that's been there forever, New York Lace, which is like a bridal shop. You can also get your prom dresses or whatever. Like, that area is so much nicer now, and there's also more pedestrian lights. Like, you can hit the button and there will be like flashing lights, so it's more safe to walk over there now. Like I said, you really don't want to be walking around the green because people don't pay attention, so it's better over there now because they have the lights that flash so that people know to slow down and know to look out for pedestrians. So she really fixed all that up. It looks great. There's other on the other street, Ware Street, there's like a new coffee shop there called Neighbors. I still go there a lot. We love Neighbors so much. But it's definitely like they've spruced it up. There's like trees, there's pots of flowers and everything. It looks so much nicer because if you live in Taunton, you are guaranteed to go through the green. Like, I don't want to say every day, but like often. Like, if you live and work in Taunton, or you work even in like a surrounding city, you're gonna go through the green. So like, you are going to see the green. But anyway, so Shauna O'Connell did that, bringing in new businesses. She's sprucing up downtown to make it look better, making it safer for people by having those like pedestrian areas and everything. So I was like, Shauna O'Connell's doing a great job. I'm gonna vote for her again, even though I never voted for her before. But obviously, like I said, around 2020 was when my views changed and I stopped caring about what's left and what's right. I started caring about, like, does this person care about Taunton? Does this person care about the same issues as me? Okay, I'll vote for them, you know? So I thought that Shauna O'Connell was doing a great job, right? And then over the past year or so, like, I think it was like right before I moved away, she has gotten into some questionable situations. Last year, she was arrested for a domestic dispute between her and her husband, where she assaulted him with an ice scraper. Every time I talk about this with my fiance, I say ice pick, but ice pick sounds so much worse. It's an ice scraper. Anyway, he called 911 because he was scared. I think she was also drunk, but I'm not sure. Allegedly, like this, I'm not sure about that. But I do know that she got arrested because even though her husband said, I don't want to press charges, in our state, if the police have enough like evidence, they will just arrest you, because you don't have to press charges when it comes to like domestic violence. So, which is a good thing. Like, hear me out, that is a good thing. But anyway, so she got into that domestic dispute. Nothing came of it because she's the mayor and she can do whatever the heck she wants, basically, is my opinion. And her husband is saying it was just something that was meant to be private. I really wish I never called the cops. Like, when she made a statement about it, she was like, he regrets calling the cops. Like, girl, of course he regrets calling the cops, because you probably ripped him a new asshole. Like, anyway, but it didn't stop there. She also got arrested for being drunk and disorderly at a local restaurant, which was actually a town over, called Barrels and Boards. And both incidences where she got arrested, the police body cam footage has been shown to the public, so everyone, this is public knowledge that she's been arrested. Whether or not you think that she's guilty of the crimes, that's your opinion. So, I mean, in my opinion, I've met her multiple times. Like, when I was living there, I used to show my work at a gallery, and I met her and her kids. There's also like a scandal involving she like, they sent her to a treatment thing. It almost sounded like one of those what's that thing that like troubled teen industry. It kind of sounded like that. And she ran away and she was missing, but then they found her. And like when everything was going and she was missing and everything, I was just like, they sent her away to like Arizona or something. Like, what the heck? It just sounded really bad. And her daughter was like 19 at the time, I think. So I don't know, it could just be like she was getting like rehabilitation or something. So like, I'm not gonna judge. Also, I feel bad for the daughter, so like I'm trying not to judge on that situation. But I will say, the times that I met her and everything, she seems like someone who would do something like that to her husband. And I know that's horrible to say, but hey, you got arrested for it. Obviously there was something there that the cops had enough evidence to like do something and arrest her. Even though she says that it was just something personal, domestic, at home, like it's none of our business. Maybe you're right, but I wouldn't vote for someone who put their hands on their husband like that. So I would not vote for her a second time. But like I said, I moved now. It doesn't really matter what I have to say about it. But so there is an election coming up in like a month. It's October, so I believe that the election is next month. So Estelle Borges is running again. Obviously, I'm inclined to support her, even though I don't live in Taunton anymore. And I think she's doing alright. She's canvassing, she's going door to door, she's asking people what their biggest issues are with living in Taunton right now. The place that I was living, the Where, she went door to door, and it seems like everyone was saying like about the noise at this concrete place. And when I lived there, I wasn't so close that I could like hear it, but I could hear some rumbling in the background. And if I went for a walk, it's all you hear is backup beepers all day, lots of rumbling of them like mixing the concrete and like moving the stuff around. I don't know what you call it, the like debris, whatever. They're like moving it around and everything. It was so loud. And like, if you live in the first couple houses next to them, it's all day. There's no quiet time. It's all day. So if I was choosing to move, right, I would not choose that neighborhood. So if you're someone who's ever trying to move to Taunton, Massachusetts, do not live in the Where. It is very noisy and frustrating. But anyway, I saw her doing that, going door to door. She says everyone's complaining about the noise. I'm gonna see what we can do about it. Shauna O'Connell, she doesn't really care about that stuff. She cares more about like businesses and like someone's trying to get a house built or whatever. Like, she cares more about that. Anyway, but Estelle Borges posts, I follow her, like Estelle Borges for mayor or whatever on Facebook, and I do think that she goes a little low sometimes. Like, she'll be like, Taunton police needs to share the body camera footage of Shauna O'Connell being arrested. Like, the public deserves to know that. They do. But like, I do also feel like you're kind of playing dirty when you start digging into like Shauna O'Connell did this and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Maybe she's not. Like, we want to hear what issues you're trying to solve. You know what I mean? And like, maybe in your mind it's like, the issue I'm trying to solve is that we have a mayor who abuses her husband. You know what I mean? Like, that is an issue. Yes. But it is also like a personal thing. And I want to hear more about like, what are you planning on doing for Taunton? But like I said, she does talk about that in her videos and on her posts and everything. But anyway, because of her low blows, and she's like emailing people in her campaign and like sending out mail. I don't know where she gets all this money from. Well, she works for like the city council. Anyway, because of that, she really pissed the city council member Chris Coit off. I always thought his name was Chris Kurt because I had a Mr. Kurt that like worked at my school. Same spelling. This guy goes by Chris Coit apparently. Coy, because that's what everyone calls him, and he calls himself Chris Coy. I've only heard him call himself Chris Coy once, but anyway. Didn't have to go on that tangent. Anyway, so he starts his page, and it's called All Things Taunton with Chris. And the first time I ever saw him, he posted something saying that the way that Estelle Borges is like doing her campaign is predatory towards seniors in Taunton because they don't quite understand her messaging. And like, maybe, but I also felt like we were kind of mad at the wrong things, you know, like whatever. Anyway, so he starts posting, and because he's talking about Taunton and he's posting it in Taunton Facebook pages, he's getting thousands of views because people, even though they don't agree with him, like I don't agree with him, people still wanted to see what he was saying because everyone's now talking about it. Like, look, Chris Coy is talking about blah blah blah. So I'm looking at his videos. Like, he says that there's like 30,000 people looking at his videos because there's a 70,000 population in Taunton. So a lot of people are like, what the heck is he doing? Everyone's talking about it. He's posting like, I don't want to say derogatory because derogatory is not the word. He's posting like negative things about Estelle Borges, talking about she is like bringing up personal things, and like, you know what I mean, like he's like really saying like Estelle Borges wants to change things, like even though nothing's wrong, and like, yeah. Anyway, so he's just saying all that. Everyone's talking about him on the Taunton pages. They're like, oh my god, he's so annoying, like he's just doing this for attention, which I'm inclined to agree with because he's making like videos and like all he talks about is like, oh yeah, I got 10,000 views, oh I got 30,000 views, I'm a content creator. And it's like, you're a content creator because people are talking negatively about you and people are trying to see what you're saying. That's what I see, at least, because when I look at his videos, he has like 10 likes and like 2 comments that will be like, this is great, Chris, and it's always like an old lady, and they're always like, this is great, Chris, I'm so glad you talked about it. And I'm just like, don't listen to this man. You are misguided. But anyway, so there was a city council meeting. It was on the 18th. No, I don't know, what's the other day? What's today? Today is the 16th, so it must have been on like the 13th or 14th. Like I said, this is public, so I watched it this morning because I have been working, and like I had a wicked bad headache yesterday, and then today I woke up with like really bad cramps, and I was like sick from my period. Happens to me all the time. But anyway, so on the city council meeting, you know, they open it, like the mayor, she is the one who's like, I don't want to say she's like the moderator, but basically she is, like, she sits there making sure that everyone stays on track and like pays attention to time and everything. When there's public input, she's the one telling them, okay, your time is up, you know. Chris Coy wants to give his public input even though he's a city council member. You should be sitting with your other city council people, but he didn't. Instead, he was sitting off to the side, and he was wearing a Charlie Kirk shirt, the one that says freedom. I don't even know if it is a Charlie Kirk shirt, but Charlie Kirk wore it, and that's like why he, you know, whatever. Anyway, so he gets up, he starts screaming, talking about this woman, Jen Hoy, who is like she helps the campaign for Estelle Borges. He's like, she's trying to silence me. Here is her comment, and her comment, I'm gonna do a picture of it. Her comment really did say, you can help me silence him, sign this petition, which, like, not the right wording. Like, I don't understand what the petition's for. I should probably go and look at it, but it only has 150 signatures, which is really, you guys know that's really not a lot. But maybe if she brought that to like the mayor or something, the mayor might do something about it. But anyway, she says, from Jen Hoy. She's trying to take away my First Amendment right. And like, he's like, I get 30,000 views on my videos, and like, you will not silence me. And he's talking about Charlie Kirk and like the First Amendment and everything. Like, you will not silence us. And I was just like, anyway, got anything else to say? Chris Coit. But anyway, yeah, that was all. And then Shauna O'Connell said, that's enough, and they sat down. Well, she didn't say that's enough, but she said, your time's up. He sat down. So then Jen Hoy gets up next, and she said, I just want to remind you that our founding fathers, when they wrote the First Amendment, the right to freedom of speech is about government retribution. So a cop cannot throw you in jail or shoot you because of something that you said. Which she's right. That is exactly what the First Amendment means. It doesn't mean that you can just say whatever you want without anyone getting mad or saying something against you. I hate that people have turned it into that, like, freedom of speech. I could say whatever I want. Yeah, you can say whatever you want without getting arrested, but you can't say whatever you want without someone telling you to shut up. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway. That's what she said. And she also said, like, I feel that this behavior from a council member is disgusting, and it's just not professional. Agree. Also, like, the fact that he wouldn't sit with the other city council members but did all this just because he wanted to say that he was being silenced. Like, come on, dude. Really? There are people who are genuinely being silenced, and you're like, Jen Hoy is trying to silence me. But anyway, she said she feels that it's despicable and everything. Her time is up. She sat down. 2 more people got up, and one of them was saying that city council members should not act like that, and also city council members should not come into the chambers wearing shirts from other political affiliations, because you're supposed to come in there being unbiased and worried about the people of Taunton, right? That's what she said. So she was like, he shouldn't be wearing a Charlie Kirk shirt in the chambers. The next person gets up. She reads something from her son, who I know her son because he used to be friends with my little sister. And basically he says that Chris Coit is despicable. The things that he posts online is lies, and it gets older people, like, in a predatory way. It does get older people to, like, believe in misinformation, and he posts nasty things about people, and I was like, kind of agree. But anyway, she sat down. Well, before she said all that, she also said, I just want to say what I just saw from Chris Coit was extremely unprofessional and disgusting and nasty. And I was like, yep. Anyway, so Chris Coit got up, and then 3 people basically complained about Chris Coit because he won't shut the fuck up. But like I said, he's not going to be silenced. He does have the First Amendment rights, so, like, of course the police are not going to do anything about it, and that's his right. But I do wish that he would shut up and stop being predatory towards people. In my own personal opinion, like I said, I have family members who live in Taunton. They see his videos, they're gonna believe that Estelle Borges is, like, lying to them, even though she's not. She's been very transparent, you know. And it also, like, fear mongers, like, oh, this person's trying to trick the seniors. Like, no, you are trying to trick the seniors, Chris Coit. Anyway, so after all that, with Chris Coit talking about the First Amendment, and 3 people get up and basically complain about him or give your public input, there's a man named Mr. Ratliff who got up. I had no idea who this guy was. They say his full name on the video. I don't know who he really is. Never heard of him before. He gets up. He says, last year I got fired from my job because everyone said that I flipped off an Amazon driver, and it did not happen, and there's no proof. I don't know the truth of this. If they don't have proof, then they don't have proof. But he sued the city, and the city gave, like, settlement money. of $30,000. So he says in the thing, he says, like, if the city of Taunton truly believes that I did something like that and I flipped off an Amazon driver and I deserve to be fired, why would they try to give me hush money for $30,000? And then he says something along the lines of, I wrote it down, I got fired from my job with no proof whatsoever, but we have police body camera footage of Mayor O'Connell being arrested, and that's not a problem. She should be fired, and I call for her to be resigned. I was like, no way, he just said that. And so as he starts saying that, Shauna O'Connell's banging her gavel. She's like, that is enough, Mr. Ratliff. Your time is up, Mr. Ratliff. And he just keeps going. And it sounds like Chris Coit, but you can't see on camera. He's like, sit down, Ryan, or whatever his name was. He's like, sit down, Ryan. That's enough, sit down. And he's like, I'll keep going, I'll say whatever I want. And then the camera cuts. So I have no idea what happened. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys about that because I was like, what? I didn't even know about this guy's situation. But he got settlement money from the city of Taunton for $30,000. And I'm guessing that he went to this thing to give public input, basically to say that, like, hey, I want to make it clear what happened, and like, there's no gag order, so I'm gonna keep talking, you know. And then he got in that little fight with Chris Coit. But anyway, after this city council meeting, multiple people have posted on Taunton pages talking about Chris Coit and saying that he is acting very unprofessionally. He's up for re-election next year, so keep that in mind. My favorite city council member, Barry Sanders, and I only really like him because he cares about the community, he cares about art. He does, he sponsors like an exhibition at my favorite gallery once a year, and I don't think I've ever submitted art for it, but I have gone to see it, and they have like snacks and beverages, and you can just go and look at the art, and I love it. So anyway, I also feel that Barry Sanders really cares about the environment, and that's why I like him, and I voted for him in the past. He also really cares about the arts and other community events, which I think is really important for children in Taunton, because since there's no mall anymore, it's like kids need some kind of outlet, like somewhere that they can go, where they can, like, you know, do something and like put their energy that they have to good use. And I think that Barry Sanders really cares about that and really wants there to be what's the best way to explain it? He wants there to be creative outlets around the city. He cares about the library, and he cares about, you know, like everything like that. He cares about small businesses being able to have space. So I really like Barry Sanders. But anyway, he posted and he was like, the way that Chris Coit acted tonight was absolutely despicable. I wish that I had spoken up in the moment, but I was just so shocked that he really decided to get up there and act like that. And he said, like, I really think it's inappropriate for someone who is a sitting city council member to not sit with us at the table of councilors and instead get up and give your public input and wear something that is like politically affiliated with someone else. I mean, I think that if Barry Sanders felt like he could have stood up in that moment and like spoken out on it, I think he would have. But he didn't. And I think that he didn't because he was, like I said, I think he was just so shocked. Like, I can't believe he just got up like that. But yeah, anyway, that's where we are right now. I can't believe I've been talking for almost 40 minutes now. That's where we are right now. Like I said, the mayoral race is next month, and I moved, but I haven't officially changed my address, so I could vote. Like, I could wait a little bit and vote in the election, but I also think that's kind of like morally wrong because I moved. when you call 911 and you have a medical emergency, it's the fire department that responds, because that's just how things are in our town. And I care about that. I think that we give the police too much money, personally. But yeah, like, I care about these things, and I want to vote for a selectman that cares about these things. But the position that's up for re-election right now is just a 6-month position, so I'm really on the fence of, like, should I vote in the Taunton election, then switch my address afterwards so that I can start voting in my new town, or should I just change my address now? Because also with this new job, like, I really would like it if my official address was here now, because technically, since my other address is still in Taunton, like, if something happens and my paycheck needs to be sent through the mail, it's gonna go to Taunton, and then my mom will have to, like, bring me the paycheck and everything. So I have been wanting to officially change my address, but I need, like, a bill to be sent here in order to prove my address or whatever, and I don't really have bills. I have little bills, but I don't really have, like, I don't know, whatever bills they need me to bring, like my health insurance bill or something like that. So I think that if I could vote in the mayor's election in Taunton, I would vote for Estelle Borges. Like I said, I don't think it's cool that she has, like, said some, like, low blows about Shauna O'Connell, but I also think that what Shauna O'Connell has done, I personally believe, because of the body camera footage, that she did those things. So that's my opinion. I don't think that someone who does things like that should be a mayor, because I feel like if you can't even, like, manage to have a healthy relationship with your husband of, like, 30 years or something like that, you should not be, like, managing a town, a city, even with 70,000 people. But yeah, that is my feelings on the situation. I wanted to tell you guys about it because I always see people doing, like, juicy neighborhood gossip, and, like, I don't really have juicy neighborhood gossip because all the people who live around me are chill and they're all, like, family pretty much. So I don't have juicy neighborhood gossip, but I do have juicy Taunton drama, because there's always drama in Taunton, and whenever there's, like, a political issue with one of the city councilors, or the school committee, or the mayor, it's always something genuinely serious. It's never something like, oh, she said her daughter is fat. Like, it's always something serious, you know what I mean? Yeah, I can't believe I've been talking about this for 45 minutes, but like I said, I know that most of you who watch this video, you probably, like, have no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm really trying to get into details so that I can explain the situation to you, so that you can understand, because, like, yeah. But anyway, I think I'm gonna stop now. I dyed my hair back. I don't know if you guys can see. I dyed it to red this time, but it's, like, really dark. It kind of looks like I don't even have dyed hair anymore. But I think that when I bleach it next time, you'll be able to see the red more. But I dyed it, like, today, and it was just like, you know. Anyway, so I'm gonna go now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below, did you find this story as crazy as I do? Do you think that Shauna O'Connell is gonna win again for all the good things that she's done in Taunton, or do you think she's gonna lose because people are like, you did really horrible things? I don't know. We'll see what happens. When I look at comments online, I think Shauna O'Connell's gonna win again, even though I don't know if she should. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. If there are more things that go down, I will try to let you guys know what happens. If you enjoy this video, you don't have to, you know, like it. Maybe you don't like this video and you don't really care about what I have to say, but I will try to share something if you guys let me know that you like videos like this. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.